What would happen if all the nuclear bombs on Earth were detonated in the Mariana Trench? Could it trigger a gigantic tsunami? Or would the immense pressure of the trench suppress the explosion so completely that it would not even create a ripple? Scientists have actually calculated this scenario. The total nuclear arsenal on Earth, if combined together, is equivalent to about 3 billion tons of TNT. That sounds terrifying, but what if it were dropped into the Mariana Trench? At a depth of 10,000 meters, the water pressure is more than 1,100 times. Atmospheric pressure, the bubble generated by the explosion, would be compressed back inward by the surrounding seawater. The energy would be weakened, layer by layer, on the ocean's surface. There might only be a slight disturbance. It probably would not even create a proper tsunami. The terrifying thing about this place is not that you can destroy it. It is that you fundamentally cannot destroy. So what secrets does this place actually hide that make nations willing to spend enormous amounts of money to explore it? Today, I will take you into the most mysterious forbidden zone on Earth, the Mariana Trench. Where is it? It lies in the Pacific Ocean, east of the Philippines, like a gigantic scar stretching from north to south for 2,550 kilometers, almost equal to the distance from Beijing to Guangzhou. Its average width is only about 70 kilometers. The deepest point is called the Challenger Deep, with a depth of nearly 11,000 meters. What does that mean? If you flipped Mount Everest upside down and placed it inside the trench, there would still be more than 1,600 meters between the summit and the ocean surface. You might think it is only a little deeper, nothing extraordinary. So, let us calculate something. For every 10 meters deeper in seawater, pressure increases by 1 atmosphere at the bottom of Challenger Deep. The pressure is 1,100 times greater than on land. That is equivalent to stacking 90 adult elephants on top of each other and pressing them onto your fingernail. And this force is not pressing from above. It presses from all directions at the same time. An ordinary submarine under such pressure would be crushed, flat like a soda can. The human body would fare even worse. Internal organs would be compressed into a thin sheet. Bones would shatter. This kind of death comes without pain because you would not even have time to feel it. Everything would end instantly. But pressure is only the first challenge of the Mariana Trench. The second challenge is darkness. The maximum depth sunlight can penetrate seawater is about 200 meters. Below that is darkness. Not the kind of darkness you experience at night, but the kind of darkness that is even deeper than closing your eyes and locking yourself in a basement. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, sunlight is non-existent. Even artificial light can only illuminate a few dozen meters around you. Beyond that, nothing can be seen. Imagine being unable to see even your own fingers. Around you is endless seawater. Above you is the pressure of 10,000 meters of ocean. On all sides are unknown creatures. That sense of fear is more real than any horror movie. All these conditions make the Mariana Trench one of the least habitable places on Earth. Yet strangely, life exists there, and there is quite a lot of it. In the upper layers of the trench, at depths between 1,000 and 4,000 meters, there is a very special group of organisms. They glow You might think that in such darkness, glowing would only expose them to predators, but the intelligence of these creatures far exceeds our select imagination. There is a species called the hatchetfish. Its body is shaped like a hatchet, thin and nearly transparent on both sides. Along its belly is a row of light-producing organs emitting faint blue light. Why? When predators look upward, they see weak light filtering down from the ocean surface. The light emitted from the hatchetfish's belly perfectly blends with that background light, allowing it to camouflage itself. Predators cannot detect it. All. This is called counter-illumination camouflage, an advanced invisibility skill evolved by deep-sea organisms. There is also a species of deep-sea jellyfish whose body is completely transparent, like a drifting block of gelatin. But when threatened, it bursts with intense blue light, like a flash grenade in the deep ocean. The predator is temporarily blinded while the jellyfish escapes. The light can also attract even larger predators. The enemy of your enemy becomes your ally. In the deep sea, this tactic of borrowing another predator to eliminate your pursuer is extremely effective in this eternally dark world. Light is the most powerful weapon. If glowing creatures are the assassins of the deep sea, then the next creatures are its monsters. You may have seen an image online of a wrinkled, pink blobfish with an expression that looks as if life has tortured it terribly. It was voted the ugliest animal in the world, but this image is misleading. In the deep sea, the blobfish actually looks fairly normal. Its body structure is complete, and its expression is not exaggerated at all. The problem is that it lives at depths greater than 1,000 meters, where pressure is over 100 times stronger than on land. When it is brought to the surface, the pressure suddenly disappears. Its body collapses like a deflated balloon into that miserable appearance. So, it was not born ugly. Humans made it look ugly deep within the Mariana Trench. Food is extremely scarce. The seafloor is a barren, muddy wasteland like the edge of the universe. But occasionally, a feast falls from above. When a whale dies, its body slowly sinks into the deep sea. This process has a beautiful name: whale fall. What happens when a 40-ton whale sinks to the ocean floor? Within hours, sharks arrive after smelling it. Within months, they consume 90% of the soft tissue, leaving only the giant skeleton. Then worms, snails, and bacteria colonize the bones. Bacteria break down the fats in the bones and release sulfites, feeding even more microorganisms. A single whale carcass can support an entire ecosystem for up to 100 years, in a place where there is almost nothing. The death of one whale becomes a feast for an entire community. There is a Chinese saying, "When one whale falls, all things flourish." That is exactly what it describes. It is the most brutal yet gentle cycle in nature. Traditional biology believed that all life on Earth depends on the sun. Plants convert sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat herbivores. The origin of the food chain is the sun, but the Mariana Trench shattered this understanding. In some regions, scientists discovered life completely independent of sunlight. These places are called cold seeps or hydrothermal vents. Methane and hydrogen sulfide erupt from the seafloor. To humans, These gases are deadly toxins, but for organisms there, they are delicious food. There is a type of tube worm, white as snow, with no mouth and no stomach. So how does it survive? Inside its body are special bacteria capable of converting hydrogen sulfide into energy. The worm lives entirely through these bacteria and never needs to eat. Scientists call this ecosystem a chemosynthetic ecosystem. It is a world of life completely independent from the sun. This discovery has significance far beyond the deep sea. Beneath the surfaces of icy moons in the solar system lie vast hidden oceans. If life can exist in Earth's deep sea without sunlight, then what about extraterrestrial oceans? Researching the Mariana Trench may be the key to finding life beyond Earth. So when did humans first discover the Mariana Trench? The story begins in 1872. That year, the British Royal Navy sent a ship called Challenger on a scientific expedition around the world. On board were more than 220 sailors and 5 scientists. Their mission was to test a popular hypothesis at the time, that no life could exist below 550 meters beneath the ocean surface. In March 1875, Challenger arrived east of Guam. The crew lowered a weighted rope into the sea to measure depth. The rope reached 7,000 meters without touching. Bottomed out, they connected every spare rope on the ship together. The total length reached 8,184 meters. Still, the weight did not touch the seabed. Everyone aboard was shocked. That was how the Mariana Trench was discovered. However, due to the technological limitations of the time, the measurement of 80, a rough estimate, it was far from the true depth. 76 years later, in 1951, the ship Challenger 2 returned to the area and used sonar equipment to map the trench. Scientists discovered a massive abyss in the southern part of the trench with a vertical drop of more than 3,000 meters. The deepest point measured 11,034 meters. They named it Challenger Deep. A young man who heard this news once said, "I want to see that place with my own eyes." His name was Jacques Piccard. His father, Auguste Piccard, was a famous physicist and the first man to enter the stratosphere in a balloon. Father and son worked together to build a completely new submersible called Trieste. Unlike previous designs, it did not require steel cables and could dive and surface freely on its own. On January 23, 1960, Jacques Piccard and US Navy Lieutenant Doane Walsh boarded the Trieste and officially began their descent into the Mariana Trench. During the dive, the submarine constantly emitted cracking sounds. That was the sound of immense water, pressure squeezing the hull. When they passed 9,000 meters, a crack suddenly appeared in one of the observation windows. In the end, they successfully reached the bottom at a depth of 10,916 meters. They remained there for 20 minutes. What did they see? An endless darkness and a flatfish swimming nearby. At that moment, they realized that even in the harshest environment on Earth, life still exists. After that dive, no one returned to the bottom of the Mariana Trench for 52 years. Then, in 2012, one man broke the silence. He was Titanic director James Cameron. He piloted a one-man submersible alone into Challenger Deep and remained on the seafloor for 3 hours. He became the third person in history to reach the site, and the first to accomplish it alone. But the nation that truly changed the game was China. On November 10th, 2020, China's manned submersible Fendergy successfully reached Challenger, deep in the Mariana Trench. Its dive depth reached 10,909 meters. 3 scientists descended together, setting the record for the largest number of people to reach Challenger deep simultaneously. But the significance of Fendergy went beyond that. The United States spent 60 years making only 3 dives. China, within 4 years, turned deep-sea diving into a routine operation. Even more notable, China is developing deep-sea robots that are smaller, cheaper, and smarter. In 2024, China deployed a small unmanned robot that required no cables and could crawl along the ocean floor autonomously before returning safely on its own. What does that mean? It means deep-sea exploration has evolved from risking human lives into ordinary work. In the past, such missions required an entire manned submersible. Now a small box can do the job. If one can be built, then 100 can be built. And if 100 can be built, the entire seafloor can be covered. China is doing exactly that. So, what are they searching for? First, combustible ice, also known as methane hydrate, methane trapped inside ice like crystal structures. It looks like ice but can burn. The total amount beneath the world's oceans may contain more energy than all oil, natural gas, and coal reserves combined. Whoever masters the technology to extract it first may control the next generation of global energy. Second, deep-sea minerals. On the ocean floor are black rounded rocks called polymetallic nodules. They contain manganese, nickel, copper, and cobalt. All critical resources for batteries and electric vehicles. Major powers are competing fiercely for mining rights. Third, strategic positioning. More than 90% of the videos you watch, messages you send, and money you transfer travel through undersea fiber optic cables. Millions of kilometers of cables lie across the ocean floor. If they were cut, modern society would be paralyzed. Whoever controls the deep sea controls the lifelines of the world. That is why nations are investing enormous sums into exploring the Mariana Trench. This is not merely scientific research, it is a silent war. But amid this competition, have we forgotten something? We have not even counted all the species living there. Yet we have already begun fighting over its resources. It is like tearing apart a book before reading it. The Mariana Trench is the final forbidden zone on Earth. It is closer than outer space, yet more mysterious than Mars. It may hold clues to the origin of life, the limits of evolution, and humanity's deepest ignorance about this planet. Some say the deep sea is the final challenge Earth has prepared for humanity. How you treat it will determine what kind of civilization you are. Will we become a species that takes everything and destroys everything? Or one that understands reverence and proceeds cautiously? No one can answer that question for us. The answer lies in every choice we make, and those choices may determine the direction of this planet for the next 10,000 years. The Mariana Trench remains there, waiting for us and watching us.